Theater is such a contained thing, and we all think we know what it is. But it's so difficult because it's about questions, it's about life. And because of that, it never really ends and it never truly becomes dogmatic. There's always a possibility of rediscovering something. Don Giovanni is one of those iconic pieces that are so elusive. But for me and the director, the way to capture the honesty of that space is creating something that is powerful visually, but that allows for all the transitions and the different locations within that space. The director always felt that the audience should come and they should see nothing. That they see the landscape, they see the desert. And then that amazing overture, and slowly the death image starts rising. You become hypnotized with what's happening on stage and you start surrendering to the storytelling. And I think that's the magic of theater, that if you can capture that, if you can do that, then you're there with them.
When Riccardo and Ron were putting together the set, and I saw some of the initial images, even before the final one, and I saw that it was this black, shiny set, and as soon as it had that gold head, I mean, immediately it sort of brought me to, like, there was limitations or what I was going to be working within this very stylized world. It felt like the color palette was going to be really tight, like using a lot of black and gold and red, very Spanish colors. I always want costumes to feel a little bit like clothes. Even these costumes that are obviously costumes. They're based on 1780s silhouettes. But I feel like you can make them and build them in a way that it feels like clothes and that people can wear them like clothes. And when people feel good or when they're in period costumes like this, everything changes. The posture changes. They become this other person. And it is exciting, and it's definitely true that clothes change people completely.
Hair is an odd thing. I had an assistant once when I first started working here in Santa Fe who looked it up. On one list, we were in the top 10 weirdest jobs in the world, and on another, we were in the top 3. It is real human hair. It can come from all over the world. I've been buying a lot of Brazilian hair lately. When we start in the back here, we start with 3 to 4 hair per knot, and the mesh on this is really tiny, and every 2 to 3 spaces we tie another knot, and that comes all the way to the front until we get to the very front and it goes to single hair. So there are literally, there's 3,000 or 4,000 hair in there.
I remember one time I was working on this show and one of the actors was like, "Oh my God, we look just like your sketches." And I was like, that is the point. But there is a moment when that happens, when you're like, oh wow, like that came to fruition.
It's one of the first operas I ever saw, Don Giovanni. I've been thinking about that opera, not only musically, but philosophically speaking, over and over and over again, and I've done it a few times. You know, there's such an amazing longing for life in this opera, and there's the collision with the status quo and death, and to create a space in which a singer can embody eroticism and the sexual and life itself is just fascinating.